Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle 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 do. Subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. Hey, did you know? I mean, you, of course you know. It's another October day. It's October 24th. So what we need to do is we need to head to the Halloween Advent calendar to pull out a slip of paper from today's pocket and find out what movie is written on that piece of paper, and we'll watch that movie today. So let's go to the calendar. Let's go.
Okay, what's the date today?
24.
Who's doing it?
Me.
Mickey's helping? Okay. What is it? The Craft Legacy with David Duchovny. Haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert, we're not actually going to watch The Craft Legacy because we have both Craft movies in there. So the spoiler is, you know, The Craft 1, or you already know. Basically what I'm trying to say is both Craft movies are in the calendar, and because we pulled The Craft 2, the reboot sequel thing, we're not actually going to watch it. We're going to watch the first Craft movie, and then we'll watch Craft Legacy when we pull out The Craft. Does that make sense? That's what we're going to do. We're going to watch the original Craft, Neve Campbell, that movie first, and then when we pull The Craft, we're going to watch Craft Legacy. You got that? That's what we're going to do. So it was really cool to finally watch The Craft. Now, The Craft was one, actually, I was wondering if I had seen it. I was like, I know my sister had it, and I know she watched it. She had it on VHS, but she had it, like, on VHS, like, probably in the 2000s. Like, we didn't have it in the house until later. But I know it was on, like, movie channels and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I watched it once with my sister. Maybe I watched it on a movie channel. I can't remember because I know scenes from it, you know. So I was like, maybe I've seen it or I've seen parts. And it turns out I have seen parts because most of the movie I did not recall at all, just a few moments here and there. And some of those I think may have actually even been scenes from the trailer. So you know, I remember when the movie was coming out and everything, I was kind of scared of it. Like, my parents were always cool with me watching whatever. Like, I never had restrictions or anything like that. But there was always like this thing of, I don't know, I had a couple of weird things like my mom wouldn't let me do, like play Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering, right? I don't know, I think like Witchcraft or something like sort of scared her, so therefore that was like put on me to where I was just kind of like afraid of this movie a little bit. Not, you know, like in not like I'm scared of it, but maybe like, oh, I think my mom would be disappointed in me if I were to watch this, maybe that sort of thing, but also a little bit of fear also. But yeah, eventually the movie did make it into our house. Like I said, my sister ended up getting it, and she's younger than me. She's 3 years younger than me, so you know, it wasn't a big deal when it was in the house. I think that was maybe just something I was sort of putting on myself because of these things I wasn't allowed to do when I was a younger kid. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun to watch. You know, we know these actresses from other movies. They were there around during that time, and it was cool to see them in something, because I mean they're just such big like staples of that era, and plus that movie, I mean The Craft just is a staple of that era. Like, everybody had seen it, so it was cool to finally see it and see those actresses and in their roles. And I think that was kind of the best part of it for me. Just like, oh, I'm finally watching The Craft, finally watching it. I am looking forward to Legacy when we watch that. The main reason we're watching that one is because of David Duchovny. He's in it. Same reason we almost watched Pet Sematary Bloodlines, but then we just heard awful, terrible things about it. So I think we're going to put that one on the extreme back burner, and maybe in November we'll catch it or something like that. But we didn't. I don't know. We're in no rush to see that one. But Legacy, yeah, I don't even know what people were saying about it, but we're still interested in seeing that one. So that one's going to remain in the calendar. Who knows when it's going to pop up? Maybe tomorrow. But yeah, when it comes to this movie, you know, it was kind of cool to see a lot of the special effects of the era. Some of them were pretty good, some of them not so much. But, you know, they're of the time. Interesting thing, Ski Ulrich is in this movie. And obviously Nev Campbell is in it as well. But this was right before Scream, just before Scream. Like this, they both came out the same year, actually. Both are 96 movies. But I think it's just cool that the two of them are in two movies that came out the same year. And, you know, one of them, like Scream, was just like a huge, enormous hit. And then The Craft, it wasn't an enormous hit, but it was, you know, mainstream, but I feel like it's sort of a mainstream movie that becomes like a cult classic, you know, that sort of thing, where I don't know, it's a weird life that a movie like that lives, where a cult classic can still be like a mainstream movie that everybody sort of still knows. Does that make sense? Like it has that sort of life to it, I feel like, anyway. But maybe I'm just building the movie up a little bit more because it lived in my head, because I was kind of like, I don't know, should I watch this or not? But yeah, it was, I don't know. I don't really have too much to say on it, you know, other than it was cool to finally watch it. It was cool to see the actors in it, and I don't know. It didn't. I feel like the middle maybe dragged a little bit. The end got exciting with some like action sequences, and things like that. The very ending just kind of felt a little silly. Two of the characters, not Faruja, am I saying her name right? But like the okay, so you have gosh, I can't think of her name right now. I always want to call her Rebecca Gayheart, but she's not Rebecca Gayheart. She's the other person. She was in she was in Empire Records, right? So she's like the new person moving into town, right? And then you have the three other cast members, and they are already a unit, and they're looking for this fourth person to create like this coven, right? And I guess the one thing is like everybody turns on not Rebecca Gayheart, right? They all turn on her, and like because they're buddies, they're friends, and I get why Veruca Salt. What? No, that's Willy Wonka. I can never remember her name. I always want to call her Veruca. You know, the Willy Wonka character. Gosh, I can't think of her name. But anyway, I'm always, I guess with her, I get why she was like jealous and sort of like turned on her and became like angry because, you know, she did something behind her back. But Nev Campbell, like the other two, I don't know why they became so mean, because they seem like kinder people, nicer people. I don't see them really I mean, I guess they've been friends with Farasia. Say it for me. Someone say it for me. I can't remember how to say her name. Bulk. I'll call her just Bulk. Is it Falk? Gosh, now I can't even think. Bulk. She. It makes sense that she turns into a bad guy, but her buddies, I just feel like I can't believe they turned bad a little too easily for me. But again, they knew Bulk or Falk or Sulk longer, so you know you kind of have that friendship, that loyalty from knowing someone for so long, right? You grew up together, that sort of thing. So I guess I can see it, but it just seemed like their hearts weren't the type of hearts that would be so mean. But they do. It also seems like they sort of change their ways, but then at the very end, it seems like they maybe haven't fully changed their ways, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I wish they would have been like kind and been like, you know, we're really sorry. I hope we can be friends. I'm so sorry that, you know, we acted the way we did. There was a spell over us or something, you know. I don't know, something like that. I would have liked to have seen the three of them be friends at the end rather than enemies. I think that would have been nice, but you know, whatever. I'm excited to see what the next one brings, and I don't know how much it's tied to this movie, if at all. Legacy, I would assume so. Are any of the cast members returning? Will I see Nev Campbell again? Who knows? I feel like I would have heard if Nev Campbell was a part of it, but I also wasn't keeping up on the movie, so I don't know. Maybe not Rebecca Gayheart will be in it. You know, these things could happen. I don't know who's going to be in it, but I'm excited to see the tie-in. Maybe there's no tie-in. Maybe it's just the Craft legacy, no relation to the other film except for in name and the fact that it's, witches. Maybe that's it. Anyway, have you seen this movie? And if so, what did you think of it? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.